What's up, everybody? I just got some Atari. I bought this because there was one game I was looking for and the deal was just too good to be true. So let's just get right at it. I'll show you footage and I'll just talk over the footage because nobody wants to see my ugly face anyway. First on the list is skiing. I mean, it is what it is. It's just an old skiing game, which, you know, the graphics are very intense for what it is. But you're just basically this guy, apparently an orange guy, skiing down a slope and going through whatever path they had set. And I guess if you hit them, you lose points or so on. And it's all about getting there faster or breaking speeds. Not a game that's going to make me overly excited, but still pretty cool. Next, of course, is one of the greatest games, period. Missile Command. Now, we all know Missile Command. I mean, if you're a vintage gamer in any which way or form, then you know that this is an amazing game. It can get very hard. It can get very frustrating. But overall, just one of the classics. If you own an Atari 2600, or any of the other Ataris actually, this is a must-have game. STARMASTER. Well, I guess if you're a fan of the Star Wars type game, or I guess a Star Raiders or something like that, then this game is pretty cool. Basically, you're looking out cockpit style, and you're blasting, you know, I guess meteors if they're in the way, or enemy ships, or ships that may kind of sort of resemble a TIE fighter, whatever the case may be, but still, again, STARMASTER. Speaking of STARMASTER or Star Raiders, here it is, Star Raiders. One of the best space-type games, I guess, on the Atari, for me anyway. It was a pretty cool game. Again, cockpit output. You have a targeting system on this one, which makes it a little nicer. And you just gotta shoot, you know, literally, they really look like TIE fighters. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It looks like you're ripping off Star Wars. Phoenix. Phoenix is another, you know, I guess kind of like a Space Invaders type clone, or type game, I should say. Maybe not clone, I don't know if the words are used right. But it's just one of those games where you're basically at the bottom, you slide left to right, and you shoot enemies that are eventually going to come down at you. And I mean, a little different, I guess, because they do come down at you literally, but still Space Invaders style game. BERZERK. Now, here's a game, it's, again, a must-have for any Atari collector. It's just a fun game, and, I mean, it's a classic. I mean, BERZERK, I think it's been redone or put on different systems over and over and over. And, honestly, they should make a brand new BERZERK. I think it would be a pretty cool game. Maybe with this so-called Atari VCS, we'll get that. We'll have to see. But a BERZERK high definition with newer graphics would be kind of cool. SWORDQUEST FIREWORLD. Now, these games are actually pretty, I guess, common, but also a little bit sought after. The series is actually pretty cool. The game can be like this top-down looking shooter style thing, and then it goes into like a 3D aspect, or where like it's a maze and so on. It's kind of neat. It's different. I mean, I guess in a weird way, it's kind of like a different type of adventure style game. It really pushed the envelope for the Atari on this one. SWORDQUEST EARTHWORLD. Yeah, I got both of them. You think I would have got WaterWorld? Not a chance. Anyway, this is another version of the game. Actually, a lot nicer graphics. So graphically, this is definitely more pleasing. Definitely showing the, you know, capabilities of what the Atari 2600 was quite capable of. And you still got that maze 3D feel, top-down feel. It's kind of cool. I think this is one of those games I'm definitely going to revisit. SEQUEST. You're a sub. Yeah, you're a sub. Side-scroll shooter. You know, basically you're taking out the bad guys. You gotta watch your oxygen levels, which is kind of interesting because you're in a sub, which is kind of different, but it does add that extra whatever to the game. So basically, you gotta shoot other subs, sharks, and try and save those divers while still being able to breathe. Here we go, people. The real Space Invaders. One of the reasons to own an Atari is to have these classic things like Space Invaders, Galga, that kind of stuff. But here we are with Space Invaders. Actually, a really good game. It's still a game that stands the test of time, because when it gets going, it really gets going. It can be very, very challenging. But I mean, it is iconic. It has been remade. There's been numerous different versions of it. I think there's even still modern versions still being created of Space Invaders. Barnstorming. Well, be careful. You don't want to hit those towers. And yeah, just I don't know. It's kind of an odd game for me. I don't think it's a game that I would really be too into. It looks, I don't know, very simplistic, very up and down style. It's just not my type of thing. But the graphics look pretty good for what it is. But I mean, after all, it is an Activision game. JINKS. I don't know. I won't call it a shooter. It's a top-down, that's for sure. I don't think you shoot in this one. I think it's more of a, almost like you're racing a plane through the air and trying to dodge all these obstacles. It's actually a pretty cool game. I gotta say, like, even the shadowing and stuff that's on this game is pretty decent. The graphics are really nice. If there was a little more detail on that plane, this would be pretty state-of-the-art for its time. Space Attack. Well, this is another, I guess, cockpit-style game where you're shooting UFOs, and you have these fancy color rainbow thing stars going on, because stars are very colorful in space. It's not the type of game that I would want to play today, trying to throw that little cursor around. It's just, I don't know, frustrating. Battlezone. I remember playing this one as a kid. And basically you're a big bad tank, and you gotta shoot a whole pile of other tanks and don't get hit. Uh-oh, got hit. But anyway, it is a great game for what it was. It did show off a little bit of, you know, coolness for its time with the fuzzing screen and stuff when you got hit. It was just kind of neat for what it was. But anyway, it was a fun game. TRON's Deadly Discs. Now, personally, I prefer this on the Intellivision by any means, but still a pretty cool game. You know, basically it is Tron. It's Tron's Deadly Discs. You throw them around, you bounce them, and take out your enemy. And of course, dodge theirs. But really neat. Lock and Chase. Another game I prefer on the Intellivision, graphically anyway. Gameplay ability, who knows? Maybe the Atari is better. It's definitely probably more simple, but a good game all around. I mean, Lock and Chase is kind of a Pac-Man clone. Instead of, you know, you're a bad guy instead of a Pac-Man. You got cops chasing you instead of ghosts. The idea is still there. You gotta get all the little dots, but still a really cool game. Good concept. Football. Very, very basic football. I was never a fan of Atari sports games, period. Kind of skipped it when it came to the sports titles. They see the flickering. The flickering is just ridiculous. It's just not my kind of thing. They just didn't have the power or the horsepower to replicate everything on the screen. So for that, I probably will not play football or any sports games, maybe baseball. Astro Blast. It's Space Invaders to a whole new level. It's just crazy. It's like Space Invaders and, what would we say, Space Invaders and Missile Command all in one type thing. It's just crazy. It's very fast-paced. It can be frustrating. You blow up pieces and they become more pieces and so on and so forth. But definitely a challenging game, and still a game that has a lot of replayability. Armor Ambush. Now, I was always a fan of the combat game. Combat for the Atari was a lot of fun. I played a lot of it. Armor Ambush, to me, takes it to another level, which I personally like. I like this style of game. The only difference, I don't know if you can do this in Armor Ambush, but I remember in combat, you're able to make the ball bounce, or the bullet bounce, which was kind of neat. so you could actually fire and then hope the crap you didn't shoot yourself. And guys, the reason why I wanted this a lot, Raiders of the Lost Ark. This game is pretty cool. Definitely really cool for its time. It's got a lot going on for what it is. The guy wanted $5 for the one game. This game, for example. I got all the games, all 20. Actually, 21, there was a double I didn't talk about. But I got 20 games. The 2 cases, which are really dirty, I gotta clean them up. But I got it all for $10. So I couldn't say no to this. Okay, guys. Tell me what you think about the game lot that I picked up for a whopping $10. That's right, whopping $10. I would have bought the shells for that. These 2 cases, I have more of them in my collection as it is, so I get to clean them up, put them all together, and it just looks really cool. It gives you that real retro game holding feel, which is definitely retro because it's actually original, which is really cool. But anyway, guys, I hope you liked the way I did this show. It was a little different than me picking the game up and showing you. I just decided to talk over the game footage, which I thought was kind of neat, and you don't get to see my ugly face too much. Thank you for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe if you're not. Until next time, guys, game over.